Purpose is so important. Anyone will tell you that. And most of us take finding our purpose very seriously. We feel like failures when we're unable to figure it out. We often misidentify our true purpose, and when we think that we found it, we throw ourselves into it completely. And after all, why not? Isn't that why we're here? Well, maybe, and maybe not. Our value cannot be tied to our self-identified purpose because our worth is more than what we provide to others, the value that they assign to us. But what happens when your purpose is taken from you, when you've been used up and you're no longer fit for duty, when your contribution is no longer valued? What about when you're never even given a chance, when you're broken, forgotten, and unwanted? Recently, I think God has been trying to show me that my real purpose is not so narrowly defined as I thought. Noble things that I really wished could be my purpose, good things, were really just products of a restless discontent. And when I finally thought that I had truly found my purpose, I was so disappointed a few short years later just to find that it was only a role. And roles change. I started thinking about this a lot after I found this old warehouse cart at an estate sale. The manufacturer's stamp on the casters and a little bit of Google research told me that this was made in Ohio in the early 1950s. And this thing was a true workhorse in its day, but it had clearly spent the last couple decades at least rusting and rotting away in a junk heap. Most people would have argued that this tool was good for nothing more but moving more valuable things around a warehouse, and that it had long outlived that purpose. Honestly, I was just hoping to salvage the wheels for something different. But like I said, God's been showing me some new things, and maybe for that reason I started to wonder if this ugly, used-up thing could be redeemed, given a new life maybe, a new role, or who knows, maybe even have its true ordained purpose finally revealed. The honest truth is that I've been struggling with the concept of purpose and value for a while now, and I think part of me just needed to see redemption and action, if only in this small way. And so I set to work with an angle grinder, some wire brushes, and way too much dust, and over the hours, sweat, and blood, I really learned some good stuff that I'd like to share. First, when you are broken and burned out, do not resign yourself to uselessness. There's always more for you as long as you're willing to exercise some creativity and a lot of effort. Next, we're often resistant to what we really need. We're hardened by our experiences. We're hurt, and we cling to things that we need to let go. Sometimes that is why these things that used to be good for us are forcibly removed from our lives. Next, stay out of the appraisal business. When you assign a value to yourself, you're always going to come up short. And don't listen to anyone else who attempts to do this on your behalf either. Someone already found you valuable enough to redeem, and he paid for you with his life. So forget appraisers, because he's the only one who got it right. For example, I was convinced that these boards were absolute garbage. They were weathered, rotting in places, cracked and broken in others, and until I cleaned them up a little, a lot, only God could have known that I was actually sitting on about $400 worth of solid, rift-cut white oak. Sometimes it's really amazing to see God at work in our lives, but usually it's not. It's boring, it's grueling, it seems to never end. In my opinion, most miracles really aren't that miraculous. During the process of our redemption, others are placed into our lives to help us. Most of the time, they're just as hurt as we are. This T-bar, for example, was found behind a mechanic's shop. It was designed for industrial shelving, but it was unneeded and forgotten. But it was perfect. This gorgeous hardwood flooring never even had a chance. It had been separated from its own lot, lost, discontinued, and labeled unsellable. In retail terms, it was worthless. But it too was perfect. A lot of times when we're broken and hurting, those who try to help us hurt too. This is to be expected from those who care about us. That's life. That's empathy. But sometimes we're the ones who cause that damage when we lash out and we hurt those who are sent to help us. When this happens, it's time to drop everything and get help. Finally, patience and time will reveal our true purpose and our true value. Now, I hope this illustration of purpose, value, and redemption is as meaningful to you as it was to me throughout this project. Just remember, all analogies have their limits, right? I'm just someone looking for meaning. It's just a table. But you are a beautiful creation with infinite value. You're so much more than that. And if a broken man can take a bunch of junk and make this, then imagine what God can do with your hurt, with your life. What can you overcome? What can you become? Hey, thanks for listening.